Thank you so much, Chair. So, my question again returns to the lack of trust that we see in Canadians having for our institutions, and that it's really been shaken by these allegations. So, should the current rapporteur, David Johnston, recommend against moving forward with a public inquiry in May, do you think, Ms. Telford, that Canadians will accept that? Do you see any scenario where not moving forward with a public inquiry will help?
I think I don't want to presume on what the special rapporteur is going to recommend, the government and the Prime Minister has committed to following through on the recommendations and to when they come forward, and it's not very long from now. So I think we need to make sure that we follow through on that as expeditiously as possible, so that we can all together across all parties build trust and continue to build trust in what is a troubling issue for everybody. We all should be working on this together.
So, I think you mentioned earlier in your testimony, through the chair, of course, a past example where there was a rapporteur that was set up in place before an inquiry. I just want to be clear that in that case, the terms of the inquiry was the focus of the rapporteur, to actually look at what those terms would be and how they would be followed. So right now, the process that's happening in Canada is sort of, we're giving a broad brush to a rapporteur to just sort of tell us what to do next. It seems like that's the take of the government. Instead of saying what is going to be transparent and clear for Canadians. We know that there's been a lot of things said. It's become very partisan. There's a lot of distrust in our institutions, which concerns me greatly. So I'm just wondering, I understand that you were trying to say that there's been rapporteurs before inquiries, but I think it's clear that we also know that those rapporteurs were set up to create the spectrum of what the inquiry would look like. This is very different. So I'm going to go back to the original question, which is, do you think Canadians will stand for it? And in the sense of the role that you play with the Prime Minister, is there any concern there that the voice of Canadians is not being heard and what they need isn't being delivered?
So, Madam Chair, first off, I agree with the concern. And I think we should be all working to figure out paths forward that can be constructive and ones that can be communicating as clearly to Canadians as possible that their institutions are strong and that they can have faith in their electoral systems. And that, yes, there is this threat that we have been talking about for years, but that obviously has received some more attention of late. And being able to explain clearly and concisely what that is and how the systems work to combat it, I think is extremely important. I'm not sure my understanding of the history of the previous rapporteur is the same as yours, but maybe we'll figure that out later. I think, but answering your final point, I think it's extremely important that we all figure out the answer to that. So I actually don't know that we're disagreeing that much, other than I don't want to presume where the special rapporteur goes, whether it's to set an inquiry or come up with some other way of assuring Canadians that all the bases are being covered here.